Yan ang sa akin, nasa kayo? So, olfactory experience related na siya sa sense of smell, you know. Imunti mo, imunti mo. Tapos tactile experience kay karena buhay na na magbintan mo ka ng
feel by touch.
Feel by touch. Tapos auditory experience, auditory kana na siya kana gong sounds mo lumog dito. Ang tawag na auditory na siya.
So, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. So, this is my report. What is behavior? So, in simple terms, it refers to actions. So, ang behavior daw ay nag-refer daw siya sa action sa tao towards other. So, these are anay duha ka type of behavior. These are the things we do. Ang overt behavior or observable is kanang mga overt behavior is kanang mga actions doon na makita na to, ma-observe na to, like mag-shake hands, mag-storya, managpak ka, usaya, mukanta, kanang any actions or any kanang verbal behaviors like bahalag nag-storya lang na siya, as long as ma-observe hindi mo nga nag-storya siya, mao na siya ang overt behavior. While ang covert behavior is dili mo ma-observe. Naalang siya sa utok sa usa ka tao. For example, is imagination, daydreams, and thoughts niya. For example, no, ikaw, nag-imagine ka igani nga na, as long as wala na mo siya giingon sa lain, dili pa na siya matawag o overt, kaya wala pa na mo siya gi-istorya. So, ang tawag na is covert pa lang siya. And then, some psychologists believe that we behave as a response to stimuli. So, ang response to stimuli is kanang, for example, good is kanang magkaon kag mangga, di ba? Mga slum ka, kanang wala na magituyo ba? Ana, mukha kag mangga, mga slum ka, di ba? So, mo na siya ang tawag sa response to stimuli. Mo na siya example. For example, kaya na is kanang makasimot kung ka o kanang sudan, gutumon ka, ingana. So, ang response to stimuli ana is kanang gigutom ka, ingana. So, ano siya ang sample sa response to stimuli? Others believe that we do things because we want to achieve pleasure or avoid pain. So, ang dahil tao po daw, nagatuupod sila nga, nagbuhat ang ang tungkol kay natin gustong i-achieve. For example, nag-eskwela kang tarong, kay na kay gusto abdon sa iwang future. For example, kung is ka na nagtigong kang kwarta because na kay gustong paliton sa iwang gihabuan. Yan na. So, next. So, sexual behavior. Sexual behavior can be typed according to the aim of behavior. For instance, sexual behavior such as masturbation. So, ang behavior ganina is action sa tao, no? Dili naman sa sexual behavior is kanang action sa tao nga related sa sexuality or kanang pleasure gud mo. So, maging open na guys, no? Kaya ang topic jud is
Yes.
So, for an example sa sexual behavior is masturbation or the stimulation of one's genital. Genital is kanang imuha kung aling anak. Genitals can be considered as autoerotic. Ang autoerotic is kanang Autoerotic is kanang magsarili lang ka. So, masturbation, di ba? Magsarili lang ka para ma-achieve ni mga yung pleasure. Di ba? Tapos, wala siya ang tawag sa autoerotic. Magsarili lang ka. Para makuan ka. Magsarili na siya.
Autoerotic mo na siya, mugawas na siya sa imuha ba?
Mugawas siya. True.
Auto ba?
Di ba ang
Matik ba?
Di ba ang behavior kay action sa tao? So, mugawas ang kanang masturbation, di ba? Dili mo ka ka makuan, di mo ka magawsan, kung dili ka mag-masturbate, di ba? So, ingana siya, kailangan ng action para mo, ano siya mo.
Yeah, earn na lang.
Okay, a-earn. Tapos, ang erotic motivations can also be directed to other people of the same sex or opposite sex. So, while ang erotic daw is kanang mag-deal siya same sex or another, ang opposite sex nimo para makuan ko di mo ang a-earn. Kanang ma-achieve ko di mo ang a-earn ba? Like mo, agi pa siya laing tao para ma-feel mo ang ngana. While ang autoerotic is magsarili lang.
Ay, kagets na.
Sa tanin niya. Sa tanin niyo.
Ay,
Tapos, homoerotic behaviors are sexual behaviors oriented to the same sex. Ang autoerotic, di ba, magsarili. Ang erotic is same
Saling tao,
sex or
saling
opposite
tao.
sex. Ang homoerotic naman are
Same
same
sex
sex lang. Same sex lang. For example, gays, lesbians, you know, a-erm and yeah. And then on the other hand, heterotic are used to refer sexual behaviors oriented to the other sex. Ang
Kana.
anitog to the other sex is kanang
opposite na.
opposite na.
Ano, lalaki, babae na.
O, lalaki, babae lang yun. Kani, kay same, ano no? Mas malibog pa.
Kagets kami.
Kani, babae. Sige, next.
Tara.
Okay, for heterosexual couples, one of the ultimate goals of sexual act is reproduction. So, unsa galing ang heterosexual couples? Kanang male o female lang.
Female. Okay, makabuo
So,
man.
ang ilahang goal daw sa ilahang sexual act is reproduction. When we say reproduction, kaya goal.
Babuo.
Oh, makabuo. Very good, makabuo. Pero na siya yung process. Di ba? Gusto na sa male sperm o female sperm. Tapos magsama na sila. Mag-combine sila. Mag-reproduce siya of zygote. Tapos basta zygote. Tapos, after ang process sa zygote,
Baby.
ano naman siya into embryo. Tapos mauna na
embryo.
siya ang mabuo of mauna na ang mabuo of baby. But, this is made possible through fertilization of ovules. So, kanina, both the human male and female undergoes a sequence of bodily exchanges.
Changes.
A-erm, pero mag-a-erm doon sila. Yan na. Kaya dili man mo makaproduce kung dili mo mag-a-erm. So, dapat mag-a-erm din ang male o female para makaproduce of baby.
Kabalo.
Ana, dahil na.
Yes, a-erm siya.
Para makain
And
ng
then,
baby.
this
This second.
ko sa both the human male and others which prepare them for the sexual climax. Di ba? Kabalo mo naman mo kung saan ang sexual climax mo.
Kanang mag-earn na.
Pagpunta, hindi sila nagsugod natin sa ana, niya ma-achieve na nila.
Introduction, balik na sila sa climax.
Wala, magka-baby na sila.
Ay, climax.
This sequence of changes is referred to as sexual response cycle. So, mauna siya ang tawag sa sexual response cycle. So, nag-gets ninyo?
Yes.
Very good. Next. So, sexual response dysfunction. So, the following are the common sexual response dysfunction. So, naiba na male o female na mag-earn sila, pero naiba na dili makabuo, pero naay ka ng mga disordered god. So, mo ano siya ang tawag. First is the sexual desire disorder when an individual has no level of desire or has an aversion to sexual activities. So, ang sexual response as sexual desire disorder is kanang kung wala kay desire para mag-earn mo. Wala kay gana mo, tingana. So, dili ka makapilo of excitement pag mag-anak mo. So, na siya ang sexual desire disorder. Lahi ang basta na siya. So, sexual desire disorder. So, ang sexual arousal disorder na po is when an individual has problem in achieving necessary physiological state for occupations or common siya for erectile dysfunctions for females. Ang erectile dysfunction is the inability to get or maintain an condition long enough to have sexual
Dili siya
intercourse.
kuan ma.
Sige,
Dugay siya. Ay, dali.
Dili siya mautgan. Ano?
Maogyan siya, pero, sorry, basta.
Sige, okay lang.
Open. Maogyan siya, pero kana mong mag-ano
Dili
sila.
siya og pa-release.
Oh, mag-listen siya, release ka na.
Dugay siya.
Like, oh, dugay ka.
More
Dugay
siya
ang
kitong sa sex education good.
sex education.
Katong si Otis.
Oh. Like, para sila ba, dili siya normal ang kadugayon good para mag-orgasm ng isa ka lalaki. Like,
Dugay siya
Oh. So, dili siya normal good, dili siya normal.
Dili siya normal.
Oh. So, mo na siya tawag og sexual arousal disorder.
Sa men lang ba na?
Sa men or
Sa men lang siya, okay, erectile dysfunction in male.
For mas common siya sa male, pero ano ko din siya sa female ko, pero hindi siya mo. So next is orgasmic disorder. When an individual has problems in achieving orgasm in premature ejaculation among male and female orgasmic disorder. So kanitong orgasmic disorder, di ka na mag-listen ka, katangingan mo ganina, mag-listen ka pagawas sa imuhang orgasm. Mag-listen, dili good siya, bugawas dayon, like, di ba, mao man ang climax, di ba, kanang orgasm, or kana, di ba, mao man ang climax, so, dili siya, bugaw, ano ko tayo ka na siya problema ba, dili good siya, bugawas dayon, okay nga na siya, o na orgasmic disorder. Then, ang sexual pain disorder is when there is an experience of pain during the sexual response cycle. So, ang sexual pain disorder, like, habang nag-aargod mo,
Makafeel og sakit.
oh yes, makapili kang sakit. Makapili kang sakit ka, dili siya normal, kasi naanay ka lang sa something sa
Yan,
inyong sulod ba. So, kailangan mo atuan na ng doktor, magpa-check out.
Yes.
Kasi nakakali ka na something sa
Infection
inyong
lang,
infections, mga something sa inyong dito, matri ka na.
Next.
So, painful erection for dyspareunia and vaginal spasms or vaginismus. All of them report.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mom. My name is Yasa Amoren, and I'm going to present about paraphilias. If not typical sexual behavior among humans, there are also atypical sexual behaviors, and they are considered as atypical because it is not prevalent in general population due to societal norms and cultural expectations na kanang kinabukan ang buuan nga behavior. And then, second, it is dangerous to self and also to others because of the possibility of engaging in harmful or non-consensual behaviors. And the third is not bizarre or not socially acceptable. Like, di ba ka na murag, kani siya nga case is murag mahadlok ang tao nga naka-experience ani nga labeled siya as siya paraphilias. And the last one is distressing to the doer or the people involved. And same lang siya, kanang makapos siya ng mga stress things sa nga conditions and also sa people nga na-involved sa act. So, we have paraphilic din na siya. Paraphilias. Paraphilias and paraphilic disorder. Paraphilias is when an individual gets sexually aroused by an object, a person, or circumstances that are unusual. So, kani paraphilias, mo din siya ang condition or situation na ang tao is ma-aroused in many things like objects, a person, or mga iba't ibang bagay na naka-arouse sa tao. And in paraphilias, experience ang paraphilias in 6 months or mas taas pa sa 6 months, ginaminan na kay paraphilic disorder. And we have different kinds of paraphilic disorders. First, we have exhibitionism. Ulang with N. Exhibitionism, it means a pleasure from exposing one's genitals to non-consenting people. Kani siya nga exhibitionism, like kanang mapakita o kanang genital orders sa mga tao nga kanang like dili gusto anak nga nga butang kanang like kanang hindi na ko ma-explain siya like kanang mapalit na siya pakita or magdaldal sa ilahang sa ilahang and then fetishism are also from non-living objects like dili na ko siya ma-imagine kay naaday na mga ma-arouse sa sapatos sa like naadyan ko yung example lang nila ako nakita nga video 6 tips na siya gisulod siya something na mga nga pipino, ang palaya, so nothing like that. And then ikatulo, prochorism, touching or rubbing one's body or genitals to non-consenting people. Example na ko dira is kanang mga rapist, di ba, kanang ma-arouse sila kanang mag-gunit sa mga dali sa tungkol, and then mas ma-arouse sila if ang person niya ilang gunitan kay kanang against sa kanang behavior. And then ika-apat, pedophilia, it's arousal from children. And kani siya kay common siya in society kay naamay mabalitaan nga kanang mga bata kay kanang dinarape mga 6 months old pa lang na 3 months old kanang dirape na kay na-attract sila sa baby like that. And then sexual sadism, kani siya kay it aroused from suffering or humiliation kanang natin tao kanang ma-arouse pod is kanang sagpa kanang mabulong sila pero makafeel sila pleasure and then in transvestic fetish transvestic fetish arousal from wearing clothes by the opposite sex during the sexual activities. Like ma-arouse siya wearing clothes na kanagsuot sa iyang partner o kaya nato siya sarili nga iyahang underwear na pambabae kay kani siya na situation is sa lalaki lang siya nag-exist. Lalaki siya pero nag-wear o underwear sa opposite sex. And then last is voyeurism, observing other people engage in sexual activities. So, sabotable naman siya nga kanang through magtanaw siya nga nag-intercourse mag-uyab kay kapil na siya pleasure nato. Pero take note guys kani siya mga disorders guys. Only professionals can judge you nga naa ka ani nga disorder, and only professionals lang pod ang maka-advise and makaluwas ani nga disorders. Maka-advise sa imo nga unsa na siya nga disorder, how to deal and how to prevent. And that's the common prejudices and discrimination. And there are 7.7 billion people across 195 countries, and every race has its own belief system, religion, culture, and tradition. And yet, each individual is a unique mix of their own. And that's why important na ma-appreciate na ang diversity to fully understand the human experience and para naabot tayo na peaceful na mabuhay diri sa world. And however, kaning pag-appreciate sa mga stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination, it helps us to broaden our faces of human race and we recognize different diversity that nga panang magkuhan sa ato sa ay diversity among people. And that's all.
Good day, ma'am. I'm Marcelina Gabato, and today's discussion we will delve into the concepts of stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination. These terms are not just words, they have real-world consequences on people's lives and relationships. So, what is stereotype all about? What is exactly mean? As defined by Cardwell 1996, stereotypes are overgeneralized beliefs about a particular group or class of people. By that mean, stereotypes are simplified, often inaccurate, and generalized ideas or beliefs that people hold a certain group of individuals, and this belief can be based on characteristics, traits, or behaviors that are attributed to the entire group without considering individuals' differences. Yes. Example, a common stereotype is that all engineers are socially awkward and have no sense of fashion. This is generalized belief that does not consider the individuality of engineers. Yes. In terms naman sa gender stereotypes, a common example is that women are not good at math. Yes, that is mostly common. And this stereotype ignores the diverse range of mathematical abilities within the female population. Yes. So, in terms naman in prejudice, what is prejudice all about? Prejudice is an unjustified or incorrect attitude, usually negative towards an individual based solely on the individual's membership of a social group, according to MacLeod 2008. By that mean, prejudice is the holding of negative attitudes, opinions, or judgment about the individual solely because they belong to a particular social group, and this negative bias is not based on their personal characteristics but rather on their group membership. Yes. And a common example of this, imagine someone refusing to be friends with a person solely because of their race without knowing anything about that person personally. And this negative bias is an example of prejudice. Yes. In terms naman sa racial prejudice, a common example is that a person refusing to hire someone for a job because of their skin color or ethnic background without considering their qualifications or skills is a clear case of racial prejudice. Yes. And another example is that in terms of religious prejudice, assuming that all members of a particular religion are intolerant or prone to violence is a harmful form of religious prejudice that can lead to exclusion and hostility. Yes. So, and discrimination naman, what is discrimination? Discrimination refers to actions or behaviors towards an individual or a group of people. According to the United Nations, discriminatory behaviors take many forms, but they all involve some form of exclusion or rejection. Yes. By that mean, discrimination involves actions or behaviors that treat individuals or group unfairly, often based on their perceived differences. And these actions can manifest as exclusion, rejection, or unequal treatment, and they are detrimental to the targeted individuals or groups of people. Yes. A common example is that if a qualified job applicant is rejected for a position because of their gender or sexual orientation, it's a clear case of discrimination. Yes, they are being treated unfairly and excluded from opportunities based on characteristics unrelated to their abilities. Yes. In terms naman sa housing discrimination, a common example is that refusing to rent an apartment to someone because of their disability, even if they can comfortably live there with reasonable accommodations, is an example of discrimination against individuals with disabilities. Yes. And by that, those examples highlight how stereotypes can lead to prejudice, and prejudice can result in discriminatory actions. Yes. This sequence can perpetuate inequalities and can harm individuals or groups of people. Yes. So, in conclusion, recognizing and addressing stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination is crucial in promoting fairness and equality in society. Yes. Remember, people are unique individuals and their worth should never be reduced to the stereotypes associated with their group membership. Yes. So, by that, thank you for joining us in this exploration of an important and relevant topic. We hope it encourage conversation and actions that foster a more inclusive and just world. Thank you.
So, freedom and equality. In Article 1 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or UDHR, stated that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. This declaration was drafted by member countries of United Nations and napil na dira ang Philippines way back in 1948. So from the word itself, born, sa pagsugod pa lang sa atong or sa pag-anak pa lang sa ato ay nanatay freedom or free will or rights na mamili kung unsa ta and freedom na kung mamili kung asa ta ganahan kung unsa to ang gusto. Its preamble recognizes that the inherent dignity and equal of the inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation, justice, and peace in the world. So while discriminatory traditions, policies, ideas, practices, and laws exist in many countries, many have shifted towards making opportunities and privilege accessible to everyone. In many countries, sa other countries, ang same-sex marriage is ginatugutan na and ginatugutan na sila nga mag-create of ilahang family, own family, and like enjoying the same rights as the straight couples, pareha sa rights sa straight couples. But there as sa Philippines is wala pa na siya. In the Philippines, the establishments are now required by the law to have an access ramp of people with disabilities. People with disabilities kay mao na siya ang ginatawag nila sa una nga homosexual, ang ginatawag nila sa una sa homosexual kay ang people with disabilities. So, LGBT psychology. Labels are so powerful. They can be used to discriminate and oppress people, like how the German Nazis used the word Aryan race to mean superior and just, and homosexual to justify their mass murder of what they call the inferior race. So, ginagamit daw ni nila para ma-justify or para ma-maintain or para mapadayon ang ilahang ginabuhat na pagpatay or pagpang-api sa mga homosexual nga tao, which is ginatawag nila nga inferior race. However, labels can also empower people to claim their space in society, especially in the political sphere. So ginagamit gyapon nila naagyapan sila na makuha nga advantage sa ila kay maklaiman nila ilahang pagkatao diriya and ilahang rights, especially ilahang rights, and then languages can be used to avoid offense of disadvantage to certain groups of people, like kanang intahay ang ginatawag sa ila sa una kay disabled. Instead nga tawagan sila disabled, ang ilahang tawag ang tawag na sa ilaha karon kay person with disabilities, and instead na ang ubang tao tawagan og black people, ang ginatawag na sa ilaha kay African American, and instead na tawagon ang mga homosexual o homosexual is ang ginatawag na sa ilaha kay LGBT. Sexual and emotional attractions toward the same sex has been recorded through the history. So in China, 600 BCE, before Christ era, they used the terms pleasure of beaten peach or broke back. So, mo nilahang ginagamit nga term para sa mga tao nga with same-sex attractions. And sa Japan, they have shudo or nanshuko. And in Thailand, they use katway. The term katway, mo nilahang ginatawag sa mga lady boys. And in the Philippines, we have babaylan or katalunan, which is mostly anidria is ang mga babae nga pare, and naman po yung mga lalaki, pero but some of males ani kay ginalive nila ang ilahang life as a women. Society attitude towards homosexuality and other genders variant changes through history. In ancient Greek, all males are expected to take on a younger male lover, and a practice called pederasty. So, sa ancient Greek daw, kay gina-expect nila ang mga lalaki sa ilaha nga mangita og partner which is mas bata sa ilaha, pero lalaki gyapon, which is mo ni ang ginatawag nga practice sa pederasty. And some societies like indigenous Native Americans, kay gina-accept or ginadawat na nila and gina-celebrate nila ang what they call nga two-spirited, which is it is a dance para sa mga birthday person. Birthday is kaning believe na it is also is female and male spirits, with female and male spirits. However, later cultures see it as a sin following the Abrahamic religion, which is branded as sodomy. So, ang pagiging homosexual is nakita nila as a sin while following the Abrahamic religion and crime against the nature. As this culture colonized other countries, they enforced their belief system of viewing same-sex attractions as a sin through violence. So nakita nila, 'di ba, ang pagiging homosexual as or same-sex attractions as a sin. So kung ang ilahang ginabuhat is ginaabutangan nila ni og violence, which is apil diri ang pagpatay sa mga homosexual people. And example sa ilahang ginagamit nga violence is ang pagsunog or paglabay og bato sa imuha ang hangtod sa mamatay ka or ilaha kang ipakaon sa iro. Homosexuality was classified as an illness in 19th century as basis for them to legally persecute homosexual in prison and commit them to mental institution. So, in 19th centuries daw, kay ang mga homosexual kay ilahang ginabutang sa prisuhan or ilahang ginabutang sa mga mental institution kay ang ilahang pagtuo sa una ang homosexual is an illness or psychiatric disorder. And isa sa example ani kay ang life ni Alan Turing, Alan Turing is the father of modern computing who was persecuted in 1952 for homosexual acts. And nakulong siya to chemical castration treatment, and later on namatay siya by cyanide poisoning. As science advanced through years of extensive research, the EPA removed homosexuality as a psychiatric disorder or sickness in 1973. So, throughout sa ilahang research is nabalaan nila nga ang pagiging homosexual is dili siya illness mo ta ilahang gitanggal as a psychiatric disorder. EPA finally declared that being attracted to people of the same sex is a natural vibration of the human experience, and it does not make anyone any less of healthy and functioning human being. So, moto na ilahan ang gitanggal ni psychiatry kay they believe or they declared na nga ang pagiging homosexual kay it is a natural or it is our freedom to express ourselves and it is our rights and it does not make anyone less of being a human being diri sa kalibutan.
And good morning, Mom. I am Mina Lisa Binorio, and I'm going to report about the ABCs of the LGBTQIA+. So, the term of homosexual coverage to people is no longer adequately represented the diversity within the LGBT community. These letters are changing. Some you may be familiar with, but others may be misleading. So, the term daw homosexual is hindi daw sapat na kumakatawan sa pagkakaiba sa loob daw ng LGBT community. So, naibubad levels din nga kanang nag-usap-usap din, naibubad levels din nga diling na familiar, naibubad familiar ta. So, next. So, mahuling ang mga levels, LGBTQIA+. So, first, lesbian, women who are emotionally and sexually attracted to women. So, lesbian means that babae nga naibog o babae. Like, for example, lalo sila Charis Pintenko or sila Miley Cyrus. So, not kay gay. Gay means men who are emotionally and sexually attracted to men. So, mawali sila, ang gay is sa kanang mga bakla. You know, ang kanis sila is ma-attracted o lalaki. Like, for example, lalo sila lassie, sila vice ganda. Diba si vice ganda, no, nga dato siya gay, pero wala din siya nagpa-lesbian. Ay, wala din siya nagpa-transgender. So, nag-stick din siya as a gay. So, not gay. Bisexual mean a man or woman who are emotionally and sexually attracted to men and women. So, kaya bisexual is a wala siya like, for example, ako, ikaw, naipasible nga, matapog ko, o lalaki o babae. Tapos ikaw, lalaki ka, napipasigol nga, matrakal, babae, lalaki. So, two kinds of person nga matrakal, men and women. Next, transgender. When your gender identity is different from your physical sex, men and women. So, when we say transgender, sa galing yung mga transgender is ang Thailand. Nagan din sa Thailand, kay hindi mo basta magpa-transgender, hindi pa mahal. Then, ang transgender, mo siya ang nagkausap ng mga physical sex organ, hindi nakausap nila like kanang like sa ganan kay mga gay ganin pausap sila kanang
Magpabutang og
Okay, panalo na sila kay mura sa mga babae, di ba? Kaya wala ka ba lumawan dito sila transgender woman. Wala sa ko. Next, version next. Software used by people who celebrate all gender identities can also mean someone who did not want to be respected as a lesbian, gay, and bi or bisexual. Software is kanang words din siya na ginagamit sa mga tao nga nag-support sa LGBT communities. Pero hindi sila mga LGBT communities. Pero mga people lang na nag-support. So, intersex who are born with sex, genital, or chromosome pattern that not meet by physical male or female body. So, kaya siya mga people is kanang pag-born pa lang nila ba, mag-dili ganit sila. Like, for example, ito ano, isa Jessica Soho, di ba? Na-icon ito mga bata pala siya, lalaki pala siya, di ba? Kanang babae, kaya siya pagkakot niya kay kanang menstruation na siya, tapos itubuhan na siya tutoy, no, di ba? So, nakutuban mga babae, di ba, na yung mga Adam's apple, like, yun na. One is that tawag na intersex person, but asexual or ally, people who did not feel sexual attraction to anyone, but did not mean that they not engage in marriage or relationship. So, ally ka ng ally people, kami po is sila nga, hindi ito din ma-attract or hindi makapit o attraction sa life tao, pero hindi ginayon nga, hindi na sila nag-engage o romantic relationship. Mura na sila mga robot char.
Sure kanang wala sila kanang di sila maka-feel og kanang ano guro
Oo, yun na.
emotion sa laing tao.
Next, last is style refers to all sexuality that not fit in the LGBTQI spectrum. So kaning class, wala na nag-refer sa all sa LGBT communities na sign na sign. Yes. Next, version next. So last is understanding transgenderism. So society attaches a lot of meaning to our biological sex or physical sex. Parents unknowingly set up gender-based pattern for raising their children upon knowing biological sex of their baby. So we don't know mga tuwalong inahan ang kapalo kung sa mga identity like ang girls for pink and ang men ang boy for blue may nana. So kabalo din sila kung sa mga gender identity. Sila may nagpala sa buka. Then this limited use of sexuality makes it harder for those who not in the void a box of masculinity and femininity, like the lesbian, gay, and bisexual. So, kanilang mga limited view is very difficult daw sa mga dili ka kuan masculinity o kuan femininity, like sa mga lesbian o gay, kasi balisod din sa ilaha. Mas masamang na yun sa mga transgender porque it makes so much difficult for transgender people who will feel like they've been born in the wrong body or given the wrong sex. So mas disemang sa mga lesbian, sa mga gays o bisexual, mas disod daw sa mga transgender. Kaya na sa pagdakay sa i-born pa lang ba sila is kanang na-feel na nilang malahit malawas o gilang masudlan din dili din naman nga isa sila ka girl ay nano lahat mga po na wrong biological sex mga po ang ginakuha sila diba transgender sa una lalaki makagipanganak niya na-feeling ko nga dili kayo na part mo ba niya sila transgender ka niya kasi kung saan man yun ba kontra transgender ba lalaki man yun ka sa tinuol then mga
Good day, ma'am. My name is Erica Gallardo of Group 6. So, who is transgender? Transgender, the APA defines transgender as an umbrella term for persons whose gender identity, gender expression, or behavior does not conform to that typically associated with sex to which they were assigned at birth. So, transgender is those people na ma'am, na for example is pinanganak silang babae. But then, may puso silang lalaki or pinanganak silang lalaki, may pusong babae, like those lesbian, gays. That's, yes ma'am, yan po. And the others, there are sexualities under transgender umbrella term include the first is the FTM. FTM or female to male. That's what I say, na babae sila pinanganak tapos na-realize nila na hindi pala talagang yun yung gusto nila, like babae sila pinanganak and may puso silang lalaki. And yun na nga, yun yung mga tawag sa mga lesbian. And the second one is MTF or male to female. Yun naman yung mga gay. Cross-dressing. Cross-dressing, some people want to dress as the opposite gender from the time to time. However, unlike the transsexual, they are comfortable identifying their biological sex. So, cross-dressing is the example is the bisexual. Bisexual, yung mga what we call the opposite gender from time to time. So, dalawa yung nila, yung katawan. Pwede, like, pumapatol sila sa babae and pumapatol din sila sa lalaki. That's the cross-dressing. And the drag kings and queens. Yun yung mga LGBTQ na, or should I say, the gays na hindi nahuli sa mga fashions. Yan. That's what they call drag kings and queens. Kasi nga, hindi sila nahuli sa mga fashion. They always follow kung ano yung mga fashion sa ganyang generation. The gender queer. These are people who feel like their gender does not fit the gender binary view that is limited to the male or female category because they felt that these are too restrictive. Yes, that's the last. Okay, the transitioning process. When a person realizes that he or she may be transgender, a psychologist can guide the person through the transition, especially when a person wants to go through permanent changes like sex reassignment surgery. And families, which is very crucial during transitioning because it takes years to fully transition. So, yun nga yung the transitioning process. Transitioning process and yung mga example, yung mga gays na nag-under sa mga surgery, yung binabago ang, for example, panlabas na anyo like boobs or something, they take hormones. That's the transitioning process.